And if you're not familiar with cleansing, I am going to just give it very much like a nutshell explanation to it. Basically, every emotion, every part of your storyline, which is all the stories you tell yourself, all your experiences, anything that you haven't processed and released in your life is stored somewhere in your body. Okay, the body-mind connection is not just a myth. It's not just something that we use in holistic medicine. It's really, really true. And when we have stuff that's unprocessed on an emotional level, a spiritual level, and stored in the body, and we cleanse, we do a really healthy cleanse, those things break apart and they change. And what happens is you create space in your life for something new, for something different. And I love cleansing in March. March in the Chinese medicine world is when the qi of the body, which is much more than energy, it's often just simply translated energy, but it's so much more than energy. You can think of it as like everything comes back to life. It's spring, the plants start to bloom, the flowers, are expressing themselves, everything starts to move. People tend to get uncomfortable in the body, they get itchy, they get edgy, get itchy, PMS takes a whole new level, menopause symptoms could take a whole new level to them. And cleansing is the perfect thing to do in March because it allows the body to actually release, which is what it wants to do. And it creates that space on a physical level, the toxicity that can come out of the body. The 21-day cleanse is pretty amazing. I did it, the first time I did it, my youngest daughter was 4 months old, and my hormones were wacko, and I was 45, and my period came back, and all my hormones came back into balance in those 21 days. I'm like a different person. And every time I've done it, it's been another level of healing emotionally. And like I said, it creates a space in your life for something new to come in. So when we talk about cleansing, we talk about on the physical level, we talk about, cleaning out the intestines, cleaning out the digestive tract, the liver, and, headaches, migraines, a lot of those things often get resolved. First time I did it, I had plantar fasciitis and Achilles tendonitis in both feet with a 4-month-old baby, and my plantar fasciitis went away, it was healed. And the second time I did it, my Achilles tendonitis was completely healed on a physical level. That's the other thing. So we're doing it start March 13th. So if you haven't done this cleanse, I so highly recommend it. I know so many people have so many things to say about it. I can check in with Claudia, check in with us. And we're doing a massive group for the whole team, and I hope you join us. So I talked tonight, the first thing I'm going to talk about is an unconditional why. And what is the unconditional why? We talk in Beachbody all the time about having a why for this business. It is absolutely imperative to have a why. A why is what creates your blueprint. It creates your priorities. It's what you're going to be doing, how you're going to be doing it, how you're going to focus your time, what your strategy is going to be like, your business plan, everything. The unconditional why is a little bit different than a lot of times I think what gets expressed as a why. I hear a lot of coaches will say, my why is to make $500 a week, or my why is to help people. Those are not whys, definitely not unconditional whys. Money is not a why. Money is a tool. It may be a motivator, but it's not a why. A why comes from something you feel inside when you build this business. It's that underlying feeling. We are feeling beings. We are driven by emotions and feelings. And it has to come from that place. So when Lisa came to my house and she spoke to me about Shakeology, and I got this immediate kind of clarity about the business, my immediate why was, on a business level, was to send my girls to private school. Jerry had one at the time. But to send them to school, I knew it had to come from my income. But that really wasn't my why. That was my motivator. My real why was to show up as a mother and to feel successful as a mother. That's my real why. And you could dig deeper into that, and it's about empowerment, to feel empowered. So if you're one of those people that money is part of your why, you say it's your why, you got to dig deeper. It can't be conditional on what's going on in your life. Like I see a lot of coaches, they have other jobs, other businesses, and they'll be like, oh, my why is, money, and then or the job, they don't like their job for the moment, and then the job changes, they like it, and then they stop doing the business, down like this. That's because their why was conditional. It was based upon how they felt about their job or how they felt about their finances at the time. It was not from an unconditional place. Is that clear for everybody? Do you see how the difference, the empowerment that comes from that unconditional place? It's very empowering. And a strong unconditional why, it's so important because what I'm going to be talking about in just a few minutes, it goes back to that. It's going to help you know how not to get overwhelmed. It's going to help you draw lines in the sand with yourself on what you can do now. It's going to help you push yourself and, again, not get overwhelmed or burned out at the same time. It's so important to do this because we do tend to push ourselves too much, especially as women. Okay, so you have an unconditional why. You dig into the feeling underneath it. It may be an evolutionary process for you. Maybe like you write down what comes to you and then you have to sit with it over time and get in touch with it. That's totally cool. But get into that unconditional place. I'm going to be really honest. I used to say financial freedom was my why, but I knew underneath the financial freedom, it was true freedom. It was feeling free in my life. It was feeling free to spend my time the way I wanted to. But it always comes down to feeling empowered because doing this business is about clearing blocks in our lives. Our belief patterns around money, around success, around what we can do, what we're capable of doing. Programming that we took on from our family because we all take it on from our family. It can be ancestral. It can come down. That's the whole thing, epigenetics. But really, that to me is my why, is to wake up, be fully awake, realize, and work through those things. That changes my whole blueprint versus financial freedom as being my why. And it makes it unconditional because it's about the unconditional piece of it kicks in because it's about me. It's not about what's happening around me. It's about how I want to feel and express my life, live my life. And that is the unconditional why. For some of you, you may be on this path, already be there to know what the unconditional why is. Others of you, this may be totally new. If it's new to you, let it sink in. Think about it. And the main question to always ask yourself over and over again is, how do I choose to feel? How do I choose to feel over and over again? I highly recommend the Desire Map by Danielle Laporte. I used to teach the class, the licensed class for it. I think it's an amazing piece of work to really dig into different areas of life and how you choose to feel, because the feeling is going to lead you to your unconditional why. Absolutely. Okay. Now I'm just going to, on my phones, I'm going to switch and see who else is here too. I like to see people's faces. Okay, great. The next piece we're going to talk about is identity and changing your identity. Now, when I was like 19, I went to Boston one day to get a fake ID. And I remember, we wanted to obviously get into the bars. We wanted to pretend we were 21, and all of these things. And I remember talking, it didn't happen, we didn't get them. This may seem a little bit off target, but when we were getting the ID, someone actually gave me an ID for a little bit of time. I remember looking at it, I never used it, but I remember looking at it, and I was thinking about who this person was, because this person looked like they were perfectly groomed. I had curly hair, it was the 80s, hair was like down here. And this person was like very petite. Her hair was like perfectly matched, like all put back, like in a ponytail. It was perfectly couture. And I remember thinking about her and started thinking all these things about her, like, wow, she looks so put together. And then I started to pretend. I was like, what if I just pretended? I'm not talking about the ID piece of it, but what if I just pretended like I was her, what I thought of her? And this person is really put together. Like, what if I became put together like her? And I realized, I started to hypnotize myself that I could look at somebody and the way I perceive them, I could take on those qualities if I wanted to. So if I perceive somebody as they get up in the morning and they get going and they get going and they do all these things, and I was thinking of myself as somebody who can't do those things, I could start taking on those habits just mentally. So it's something I learned to do. And then when I became a hypnotherapist, I learned to do that with patients. So what I want to do is tell you the identity that you give yourself is usually one of these things. okay? And you just take out a piece of paper, and I just want you to write down how you think about yourself, starting with I am. I am lazy. I am a procrastinator. I am disorganized. I am always late. I am too slow. I'm too fast. I talk too much. I have trouble listening. I am challenged. I'm a poor organizer. I'm disorganized. And think about, a lot of times we tell ourselves in our minds that we're lazy, that we're disorganized, that we're procrastinators, and all of those things. And actually, you're not any of those things. The only reason why you think you are those things is because of your habits. You simply identify with what your habits are. You change your habits, like I learned how to do, right? Looking at how I perceive somebody else and taking on what I perceive to be their habits. You change your habits, you're going to change your identity. So if you are somebody who you are, oh, let's say you feel you're disorganized, you're always late for a meeting. Like I am always late for a meeting. Okay. What you're going to do is you're going to pick a meeting that you're always late for. Maybe just one meeting, maybe it's 2 meetings, but not all of the meetings. You don't want to start off the gate and do everything at once. And there's a reason for that. It's because if we do too much too fast, often there's a pushback to that. There's a self-sabotage mechanism that comes in. There's too much change too fast. So when I work with hypnosis clients, one of the things we were always in training, and even in acupuncture, you don't want to heal 100% at once. You shoot for 80%, or maybe even 50%. The reason for that is too much change at once is overwhelming. You have challengers in your groups that try to do all the eating, like, the portion control containers and all of the workouts. There may be some people who can do it, but afterwards they may crash and burn. There are some people who can just do the eating, it seems like. Some people who can just do the workouts. Okay? And that is because everyone has a different threshold of this. And I'm going to talk to you about how to find that and how to go, I call it going under the radar with it. We can only handle so much change at once. Just remember that. You don't have to be a superwoman. You don't want to go from 0 to 180 so quickly. You ever drive a car really, really fast? I remember I was driving to Oklahoma. I hit 120, okay? And I was going cross country, but I didn't go from 0 to 120 full speed. I got up to like 60 and then 80, and there were still cars passing me, okay? I wasn't going faster than any of the other cars. And that's why I didn't even notice I was doing 120, because cars were going by me. But I just was going and then going faster and faster and faster, okay? If I was in a rocket ship launching, G-forces, when they talk about that with astronauts, they feel the force come at them because they're moving so fast. It would be like feeling that in my car. If I went from 0 to 120 in a matter of seconds, it would be freaky. But going from 0 to 120 over a matter of time, that obviously I was comfortable with, I didn't even notice it, and other cars are going by me, it worked, and I got there. So you're going to find, I'm going to talk about this a little bit more, your threshold, and the place you can go underneath the radar. So you don't want to go so fast in that you get overwhelmed and you burn out. Okay? You're gonna pace yourself. So when you did your why, I'm gonna backtrack 1 second. When you set up your why, which I said set up the blueprint for how you're gonna do this business, it also sets up your priorities in life. Why is gonna set up your priorities. And what you do is you take a piece of paper and you write down your priorities on one side, and you write down how you're spending your time on the other. And you see what matches up. And anything that doesn't match up with your priorities goes. And then you add in the things you know you need to do with your business. When you get to a place where you're going to start and you want to go underneath the radar, that priority list and those tasks, how you spend your time is going to be really important, because you're going to start picking what you need to do. But you've got to be tuned in. You don't want to go too slow, because we know what happens, and you go too slow, you get kind of like, oh, I don't want to get overwhelmed. So you go kind of slow, then you don't build that momentum. You want to build momentum, but you don't want to go too fast, because you're going to get burned out, because you can only handle so much change at once. Just like some of the challenges who can only do the food piece, some of the challenges can only do the workout piece, and some people can only do parts. Some people can't work out, 21-day fix, like 7 days a week, right? There are some people just working out 3 days a week is such a huge change. That is literally all they can handle. For them to go to 7 days may cause them to burn out. It's not sustainable to them. But if they do 3 days, and after a period of time add on 4 days, and they add on 5 days, that can be sustainable. Then you have other people that come in and they can rock it. They can do 7 days a week, and they may push through. But after 21 days, they may be gone, or they may be ready for more. And again, everyone's different. So you have your priorities, you have your identity. And I'm kind of rushing through these. So I'm going to go back and circle back and repeat some of these things. Your identity, I'm talking about, is identity that goes, I am a procrastinator, I am lazy, I am too slow, I push too fast, all of those things. And you can look at your identity, and let's say you're someone who's always late, like I said, and let's say you have 5 meetings a week. Instead of saying let me say you're late every single time for all 5 meetings. When you set to change your identity, you're not going to push for all 5 meetings to be on time. You might push for 3. You might push for 2, maybe 3. Okay, give yourself a little wiggle room. Because let's say you push for 3 and you hit all 3, okay, and you start focusing on, that's going to build success. So now, instead of identifying yourself as someone who's always late for meetings, you now identify yourself, well, I was on time 3 times. And that's what you're going to start focusing on. It's actually a form of self-hypnosis. I was on time for 3 meetings this week. That's amazing. I am on time for my meetings. And before you know it, you're going to start hitting 5. The wiggle room is there because there's some days something may happen, this external event. You may be in a mood. We do have moods. We have emotional swings that happen. So you give yourself a little bit of wiggle room, because you're focusing on success that you can have. Because by focusing on success, by focusing on that, you're going to expand it. And that's how you begin to slowly change your identity. So now you're somebody who is on time for your meetings. And then maybe you're usually late for dinner with friends, and say you had meet twice a week. So you say, maybe you meet Tuesday and Wednesday night dinner with friends. I'm going to be on time for my Tuesday night meeting. Or one of those meetings, one of those dinners I'm going to be on time for. Then you pick that. So slowly, over time, or maybe a lot of times when you set these, people set like 3, they'll hit all 5. Because they don't feel the pressure to hit all 5. So they don't get that overwhelmed and that underneath the radar piece. Remember, you can only handle, everyone's different, but everyone can only handle so much change at once. Okay? When I had my health center, I used to have patients who would come in. We used to call them initial patients, because that's all they would come in for. And they would come in with this laundry list of things they wanted to do. They wanted to do every modality that was in the office. It was like a number of them. They wanted to cleanse. They wanted all these things. And it was literally shaking in their bodies when they're talking about it. And it was just so much they wanted to do that's so overwhelming that they literally couldn't come back for a second appointment. They would just disappear. Because even just wanting it, even without doing it, was too overwhelming and they couldn't handle it. So going back to identity, you change the identity, and then you have to fly underneath the radar to change it. So those patients, when you try to talk to them, what you try to talk to them is, let's just pick one thing, and let's just focus on that. If they're willing to do that, and do it in small increments, then usually they were successful. Okay. So the identity piece of it, procrastination, time management, laziness, sloppy, whatever it is, you pick the areas of that you can change easily, and you begin to change them. And that's how you focus on that, not on what you didn't do. You focus on that, and that begins to change your identity because you're focusing on the success. The next piece I want to talk is, everybody had questions at this point? You can unmute yourself, or, okay, is everybody on the same page? Is it helpful? I know I talk really fast, okay? But is it helpful to you to hear this, like changing the identity of being the procrastinator or being lazy, or, okay, all those, and flying underneath the radar, like creating change but not too fast? Okay, great. A lot of times, especially in this, in this business, we talk about, we show something like a motivational video, or we show like, we go to maybe a Super Saturday and a beach body event, and we get so hyped up. And what happens when we get hyped up, we get like endorphins. Adrenaline starts to run, and our whole body gets lit up. And our bodies love endorphins, right? Everybody who works out, right? You love the endorphin high. It feels so good. You feel big, you feel expansive, you feel like you can do all these things. And that's amazing, okay? But the dark side of motivation is this. Motivation, that endorphin hit, we are programmed to want endorphins. We get addicted to them. That's why we look at our phones, we look at our tablets, all that stuff creates dopamine and endorphin hits, okay? That's why we do certain habits, because we get something from it. It's all about the endorphins on a chemical level. So we go and we see a video, go to an event, we get rah, rah, rah. And we're on that high, which is awesome. And I'm not knocking it, because you want to get motivated, you want to get inspired, but there's a dark side to it. Because motivation like that can be like kindling on a fire. It burns out quickly. Okay? That's okay. Doesn't mean you don't go, doesn't mean you don't get inspired, you don't get motivated. But you have to know this. It's going to burn out on some level. Because the endorphin high can't stay at that level for so long. You're going to start looking for it, the next endorphin hit, the next endorphin hit. And if you go into your coach online office and the endorphin hit isn't there, and you feel like this, feeling, maybe the rank isn't the endorphin hit you wanted, or the volume, or your commission. Okay, that's fine. I'm just telling you how to deal with this. So then you look at the business and you kind of go, well, what do I do? You're doing your things, and you think, again, you're not getting the endorphin hit because you're not getting that immediate response. Okay, and that's okay. Because if you have a strong why, that unconditional why, that's what's going to help you through this. Remember, that's why it's unconditional. It's not based upon what's going on around you. It's based upon the feeling. So you're going to find something that gives you the feeling of your why. If it's empowerment or joy, go do something that gives you joy. Calling a friend, going out to dinner, going to see a movie. It's a really great exercise we do in Qigong, where you take your hands and you put them underneath your belly button, because that's where you're connected to your spirit, which lives outside of you, which is so much bigger than you. And you just put it there, and it's a Qigong exercise, and you breathe into that space, and that helps you to connect with that part of you that is larger, that is unconditional. It's a really great exercise to do. So you have to find something that brings you out of that space. And then what you have to do is, I call it suck it up. You become the person who sucks it up and just does it every single day. Now, going back to not getting overwhelmed is the key to knowing what it is you need to do. So you talk to your upline and you go, what do I need to do? Tell me what actions. And then as you're going through the actions, the activities you need to do, then you sit down and you figure out where you can fly underneath the radar so you don't get overwhelmed. Remember, you can only create so much change at once. Everybody's a little bit different. And don't compare yourself to everybody else, because not everybody, some people Okay, there's certain activities we talk about in Beachbody you need to do, right? The 4 vital behaviors: recognition, the personal development, the sharing, and be a product of the product. But how those translate into exactly what you're doing is going to be a bit different for each person. So when you talk to your upline, you kind of go through stuff. You're going to pick the things that you can fly underneath your radar, not too low that you don't get anything done, you don't create momentum, but enough that you're flying underneath it, you're creating momentum, but you're not getting overwhelmed. And the self-sabotager doesn't come in. Again, I went from 0 to 120 miles an hour in a matter of moments. I would have freaked out and put the brake on, okay, which could have been a good thing, okay? But because it happened over a period of time, I was really comfortable to getting to 120 miles an hour. I didn't even notice I was there because underneath the radar at the rate I was going at those speeds and the way that transition happened. And that's kind of what you need to find. How can I keep myself underneath the radar? Because there's a part of us that sees all this stuff we want to be doing and go, 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 do it, do it, do it. And then there's this other part of us that can only handle so much change and so much activity. And you have to kind of filter it so what you're doing doesn't overload this part of yourself and you start self-sabotaging by getting overwhelmed, by getting burned out. You have to pick those things very carefully. It takes a certain level of self-awareness, but you kind of watch it. You can say, whoa, I can come back. I recently decided to start seeing patients again. And when I decided, it just kind of came to me. And when it first came to me, I said, I'm just going to see 3 patients a week. And I used to see 35, 40 patients a week before I had kids. So 3 is like, kind of chunk of change in some ways. But with a girl's schedule, that felt really good. But the way my mind works is, it was really kind of cool. I was so proud of myself for just sticking to 3 patients a week. This is all I'm going to do. This fits. This won't overwhelm me. It felt good underneath the radar, right? All of a sudden, the other day, I found myself thinking about, what about 10? What about 15? And then it started creeping up, right? Because a part of me, because I can feel that endorphin hit. I can feel that expansion from thinking about doing more. So I want more of that feeling in my body. So I start thinking more, and all of a sudden this part of me starts creeping. I'm like, wait a second, why aren't I ordering my business cards, ordering supplies, and getting new sheets for the treatment table? Why aren't I doing these things that are so simple? I'm starting to feel overwhelmed. So I'm pushing back. And that part of my self-sabotager is pushing back. So I need to, that's right, bring my mind back to what felt right originally. 3 patients a week. Once I came back into that space, bam, I started to get things done. Because now I'm not overwhelmed. I'm in a place I'm flying through radar, but I'm building enough momentum at the same time. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? Are you just shaking your heads to shake your heads because you want to call? It's okay if you have questions, because a lot of the stuff, it tends to be like gray areas, and it has a lot to do with awareness. And sometimes it's like, yeah, I don't quite. And so feel free to like do a message or just, unmute yourself and just ask me, okay? So flying underneath the radar is really, really important. So for me, I just finished Whole30 on Friday. So if you're not familiar with Whole30, it's a paleo, whole foods, eating plan for 30 days. And it's very strict. You can't even though I can have bananas and eggs, I can't make pancakes with bananas and eggs. Paleo pancakes with bananas and eggs. You can't substitute certain food that tend to be comfort food for the paleo version of it. You just break the addiction to those comfort foods, okay? And I was doing, Whole30, and I saw this new training with this amazing personal development person, because she's amazing. She's a shaman, and she's crazy good. And I was doing that, and I reached a new level in the body work I was doing with my chiropractor, whole new level. And all of a sudden I was like, why can't I get myself to sit down and do this social media training that I signed up for? Jesse Regan went, what's going on? I actually started to get down on myself. Like, why can't I do that? I have the time to do that. And then all of a sudden I stepped back. I was like, oh, I know why. I'm changing my diet. My body's going through all these changes. And I'm doing this really deep, in-depth personal development program. And I'm working with my chiropractor on a whole new level. That's enough change. I can't handle any more change. And that's why I'm not doing it. So I had to double check with myself, make sure I wasn't being lazy and creating excuses for just not getting up off my butt and doing something. Because we can definitely use everything I said, you can definitely use it to be lazy. You can definitely use it as an excuse to buy into your fear that you're not good enough to do this business, or it won't work out for you. You can definitely do that. I'm going to tell you not to. I'm going to tell you this information about actually moving you forward so you can move around these hurdles that a lot of people end up in. Like getting burned out or getting too overwhelmed or trying too much at once. Okay. So I realized that all these changes are happening. And that's basically, I had two small children. We were sick a few weeks ago. That's all I could handle. But once I understood that, all of a sudden, and I accepted that, there was like this little energy that came up because I'm not pressuring myself or doubting myself or getting down on myself about why I'm not doing something. So the space started to open up. All of a sudden, I started to have more energy, and I'm like, oh, I have some time to do the training, small pieces of it. Okay. And that's because of that awareness. Is that clear to people? Do you see how that works? Because by accepting where those points are before you get overwhelmed, how much change you can actually handle, by accepting that and embracing it, often it creates space for us to do a little bit more. Okay. And I was careful not to jump in with myself. Okay, well, I'll get it all done like this weekend because it's part of my energy. I want to do that. Tomorrow's a snow day. I'll put the kids, in front of a movie, and I'll do this whole training, get it all done. No, I'll do 10 minutes. I'll do 10 minutes tomorrow. I'll do 10 minutes 3 times in the next week. My personal development training is ending in about a week. So I'll do that, and that feels good because I need the radar and that piece of it. So we kind of covered a lot of things. One is the unconditional why. That's not dependent on your external circumstance. It's dependent on what's going on with the job, what's going on with your family, what's going on if you have owner of the business, whether it's successful or not, and the ebbs and flows of life. It's really about how you choose to feel in your life. And that's your why. That creates your blueprint. You went through taking a piece of paper and writing down your priorities based upon your why and how you're spending your time and making sure they match up. Anything that doesn't match up under activities gets crossed off, and make sure you have action items in there to get to your priorities. Also, you add those in. And then we looked at the way we identify ourselves, which is based upon just habits. You're not a procrastinator. Whenever you say, I am a procrastinator, let's say, or I am lazy, it's not true, because I am is actually a very powerful statement, and it actually means that you are of spirit, you are of light, you are this higher intelligence. You can call it God, you can call it universe, whatever your reference point is. And lazy, procrastinator, unorganized, disorganized, sloppy, whatever it is, does not resonate at all with I am. That is always just a false belief. And you can change your identity just by changing your habits and changing them over time. So try to change everything. People do New Year's resolutions and they want to change everything. Like how people on New Year's Day go, I want to change this, nothing gets changed. But if you just change one thing at a time, I call it layering. A patient would come in, they're eating crap, they feel like crap. First, you start with treatments. Then we may say, okay, can you drink 8 glasses of water? If you say not drink any water, people don't drink water. They drink like a glass a day of water. That's just soda. Let's do this. 3 times a week, drink 4 glasses of water. Just 3 times a week. Once they do that, they feel successful. Then when they're ready, let's do it 6 times a week. Then they move up. And then once they got the water, you would layer around, okay, I once had a patient who never ate vegetables, ever. She ate potatoes and she ate meat, and that was it. So it would be, you have a salad 1 day a week. It was 2 salads a week. And it was a serving of cooked vegetables. So you get the idea, you kind of layer it. We had to go underneath their radar in order for them to be successful. So now you know how to go underneath your radar. So your self-sabotager doesn't come in. And you focus on the success not on the other areas. So if you're someone who's always late, you focus now on the meetings that you're on time for, not when you're not, because what you focus on always expands. Okay. And then when you move into motivation, remember when you see a motivation video, think the endorphins, think this is kindling. It's great. Kindlings are great because they can start a fire, but you need the big piece of the wood underneath, and that's your why, and those are your priorities, and those are the activities, all of those things, and then you just have to become the person who does it. You suck it up and just do it. But you want to do it in a way that goes underneath the radar, so you're not getting overwhelmed. You're not pushing too much change at once. You're taking it at a pace that actually supports your long-term success. And you don't use any of this stuff as an excuse not to do what you need to do for your business. Okay. Are there any questions? Everybody awake? On my phone, so I have to move the screen to see who's there. Is everybody awake? Do you have any questions? Was it clear what I was talking about? Did it make sense the way I shared that? Always work with your upline. Make sure you're always in touch with your upline, reaching out to them and say, what do I need to do? And have them help you set a plan. Okay? This business, honestly, you can keep momentum going in your business with just a few minutes a day. So if you're in a place where life gets crazy, because we all have seasons to our life, we all have times, I always say this, and I really mean this to coaches, reach out to your diamonds and your star diamonds. Reach out to the leadership and say, this is a crazy time in my life. What are the things that I can do in like 5 or 10 minutes a day that will keep my business moving? Don't disappear, okay? Because when I had two small, an infant and a toddler, and I was home, and I did this business in like 5 to 10 minutes a day, and it wasn't like all the time together. If you have small children, it was like a minute here and a minute there. I had a list every night about 3 things I needed to do. It could have been a post, a quick post. And we didn't do the fancy graphics everybody does now, quick post. It could be a follow-up with one person, and it could be something else. So just quick, and so that's something that flew underneath my radar because I wasn't overwhelmed by it. But if I tried to, in that time, if I tried to do what I saw people who didn't have children or who had older children doing, it completely played with my head. It made me feel like, oh, why can't I? Oh, I'm home with the kid. And it wasn't a good place because you start to resent that you're home, which is a hard thing, but it's a beautiful thing. Because you want to do this, you feel like you should be doing it. Always take should out of your vocabulary. It's just shaming. And then, so I just backtrack it and go, what are the things that don't overwhelm me? I underneath the radar and just picked out 3 things. And I did that. And my business didn't explode, but it did keep growing. Okay? And so no matter what's going on in your life or how you're feeling, or if you're brand new to this business, and there's so much stuff in the Coach Online office now, and there's so many health vets and the Team Cup and all of this stuff. Go to your upline, to your leadership, and ask them, how do I focus so I'm not overwhelmed? What do I need to focus on? Because you don't want to get caught up in every shiny object, but you do want to do what you need to do for your business. So it's a fine line there. And so that's why we said this is a very simple business. You just got to find the simplicity and focus on that piece of it. And I've said it a million times, fly under the radar so your self-sabotager doesn't come in and you throw your hands up in the air and you start comparing yourself to everybody else and you feel like a failure, you feel like a loser, you feel like, I have the 6-pack, or I don't do this, or I'm trying to do Body Beast, but I can't. When I did Body Beast, I gave myself permission to take an extra day off a week if I needed it. That was the condition I did body abuse on. My dad had passed away on a Monday, and the following Monday I started. I said, if I need to take an extra day off a week to rest, I will. And it was a couple of weeks I did, and that's how I got through body abuse. I didn't give up the program, but I made a little bit of wiggle room, just a little bit, enough that it got me through the program, it got me the results, okay? But I didn't overwhelm myself. So please do that in your business too. Give yourself a little bit of wiggle room. The key is a little bit, okay? And work with your upliner and work with seasoned coaches who know these areas to help you with it, because you cannot do your business. This is one of my soapbox right now. So Lisa, if you want me to shut up, just tell me. You can't do this business on your own. You need to work with people, different people, and find out and be honest about where your life is at, and just say, I'm brand new, I'm totally overwhelmed, got this stuff going on in my life. What are the things I need to do? And then create a plan. I'm done. I'm off my soapbox. But if you have a question, do a chat thing or undo your mic, and then if not, I can have Lisa stop the recording. So. All right. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Lisa, you can turn off the recording.